My name is Peter Bernier from AVShowrooms. Your name is?
I'm Miles Astor. We've been here several times already. Welcome to all our friends from the East Coast. It's been nice weather out here while you've been freezing back there.
And I'd like to introduce Zach Galarza.
Here in sunny Las Vegas, completely polar opposite to the eastern United States currently.
The three of us have been covering the two audio shows here in Las Vegas this year. THE show, the entertainment show, and the consumer electronics show. We've been sampling various high-end products from numerous companies from throughout the world. And we're going to do a little show report. We're going to start with the show. The show is just below CES on Las Vegas Boulevard, and it's held at the Flamingo. I'd like to start off with Miles Astor to give us kind of like a thumbnail sketch of how's the show been for you this year.
Well, I think the one thing that struck everybody so far this year is attendance, both by manufacturers and attendees alike. It's been kind of slow this year.
You know, Zach, this weekend they canceled, or past weekend they canceled 3,000 flights. When we were over in the Venetian at the Consumer Electronics Show on Tuesday and Wednesday, in fact Tuesday it was a ghost town. It was amazing. Now I will counterpoint with Miles on the THE show. Every time I've been in the Mark Levinson room, it's been mobbed. Now that's Mark Levinson the man, not Mark Levinson audio components. Mark Levinson the man is showing a software product under the Daniel Hertz SE, Switzerland-based company, SE stands for, here at the show, and his room has been mobbed. So I think it depends upon who you are and where you are and what time of the day it is. Well, given that that backdrop that sounded a little on the negative side, the positive side is it's quality versus quantity. And in fact, we have a lot of people gathered around watching us film right now. And one of them is an audio manufacturer who exhibited here for the first time last year, looking for distribution. Attendance was a little soft in his room last year, but he met the right person. He found a guy to distribute his products throughout the United States, and he's based in the eastern part of the country. And as the man has already placed a multi-thousand-dollar order because of coming to the show. So again, it's a quality versus quantity. With all that said, sonically, what stood out here at the show?
Well, for me, it was certainly the Zesto room. I mean, above all the rooms, really, it had that missing quantity. It was called mid-range. And that was like, whoa, what a concept. They had George's new 60-watt Class A tube amp driving the TAD Evolution speakers and the George Merrill turntable. And number one, it's the best I've heard the TADs because they've always been, to my ears, sort of a, hyper analytical, sort of a metallic sheen whenever I've heard it. And this is like the first time I've heard them where I said, like, yeah, this is a speaker that, I could live with.
Zach, did you get a chance to listen in that room?
I did, and I can attest to what Miles is saying. I mean, the TAD loudspeaker is able to create a synergy that really makes them stand out every year. So it's always a nice treat to go into this room. Plus, this time around, there's not that many people, so you can get an excellent demo.
Well, that's a great segue because right next to us in a room here, we have another TAD-based system with AudioNet of Germany. And I think that it's a large room, no room treatment in the room. There were some components that were lost prior to setting the room up. There was some scrambling for what loudspeakers should they use, and they just plunked in the TADs, and that's the compact reference, if I'm not mistaken, the model number. Am I right on that? Miles, the TAD, that's about that big?
Yes, CR1.
CR1. And very organic sounding, lots, I think a little bit more top to bottom in the AudioNet room, a little bit more mid-range warmth, my call, in the Zesto room. Both very compelling ways of presenting music. How about another room? Pick a room, Zach, here at the show.
MagnaPen actually always stands out. They're kind of the benchmark for entry-level sonic excellence. It's always a name that I mention to someone that may be new to high-end audio, just because they have that awesome, price to performance ratio that is not, evident across the whole high end. I mean, because of the name itself. But they always are able to pull off an excellent demo, and fantastic people at MagnaPen as well. So that kind of adds to the whole demo experience here at the show. So it's always a nice room to visit.
I agree. What did you think of the MagnaPen room?
You know, that's one room I didn't get to.
It was one of the first rooms I heard at the show, and I sat down, and it was on. It was Tuesday, and there were a lot of East Coast travelers here yet on Tuesday, or nobody from the Midwest. So I had there was only 2 people in the room, and Wendell from MagnaPen has a contest going this year, and the contest is for the press. The press is to sit down, go through 4 or 5 demo tracks, and guess the retail value of the loudspeakers. Not the electronics, but the loudspeakers. So when you guys watch this video, make sure you get over to the MagnaPen site and see who won. Because I'm coming in, and I can't say the price, but it's under $4,000 for the total price of the system in the room. And I'll tell you, it was awesome. It had this huge wall-to-wall soundstage. I swear I could hear center field imaging. So that's why I'm throwing my 2 cents worth in and saying they're sneaking a 3rd speaker there in the middle with the center channel. But I'll tell you,
did you use your X-ray vision?
I know. I did not. I did not cheat. No. How about another room, Miles?
Well, you know, there wasn't a whole lot here that tickled my fancy. I have
Boy,
to
you
say.
are Dr. Negativo.
Yeah. The closest I could come to was the audio arts room here with the CH Precision and the Robert Coda. And I think it's the Stenhelm speakers. I think, you know, some of it comes from some Goldman expats. And actually, I liked that room, which had a little more modestly priced components, so to speak, than the big room over at the Venetian with the Zealotron and with the bigger CH Precision amps and the big Sperling turntable. That, for some reason, to me, something wasn't set up properly, whether it was the turntable or something. This over here was a lot smoother sounding, good separation of voices on choral music. It was easy to listen to, and they played it with and without the. It comes as part of a 2-piece speaker, so they could take out the bass module, and so the upper part is only about 15K, but you could really, it's good down supposedly 40 or 50, and one could easily live with that.
Zach, did you get in that room?
I did not.
Oh, there we go. No, I did get in that room, and I agree with Miles. I think the reason I agree with Miles is because of the smaller speaker. And you're not getting as much room interference with having a big giant speaker that extends down in the low frequency.
It reminds me a little bit of many years ago, the old ensemble speakers. Not, I mean, this is much better sounding, but it kind of reminds me of the old ensemble.
Right. Now, there was really something interesting at the show. I'll start this one off. Project 8. And this is a company that makes loudspeakers made out of glass. And an audiophile in New Jersey wanted to share the system that he has at home with the rest of the world. So he got an exhibit room here at the show, and he shipped his whole system out here, VAC components, the big glass speakers. These are a multi-ray design. They have a ribbon from top to bottom. There's separate woofers. He brought 6 separate woofer compartments, all made out of glass. You'll see it in the video.
Wait, and you forgot Sergey's cables.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miles.
They're probably, what, a good 9 inches in diameter?
The cable's like 9 inches. They're that big around. So we lit up the ambasome. We did the needle drop. And I'll tell you, it was really good in the upper mid-range and lower trebles to me. Ann's voice in that presence region was really working out well. I would have unplugged one of those subwoofers. So that...
It was a real big sound.
It was a huge sound.
And I've heard it at actually Leon's place.
Yeah.
And he gets the same sound in his room there, except the bass is better, obviously.
It's a big sound. And if you like a big concert-like sound, that was a very cool system. And looks-wise, is that unique or what?
It is. It is. That's uniqueness is what kind of differentiates high-end than from anything that you can find in a big box store. So, always physical attractiveness and uniqueness is, for lack of better words, unique to high-end. So that's
I mean,
that's
a great example of something that's a very unique product. That loudspeaker. How about another room here at the show, Miles?
Well, I'm just going to mention maybe just one product, which I
okay,
which when I had reviewed in positive feedback, the people from KL Audio were out here with their ultrasonic record cleaning machine.
Oh yes, they were.
And it's, you know, I don't care what ultrasonic machine you use, but basically you haven't heard your records until you've cleaned them with the ultrasonic machine.
Yes, I'm embarrassed to say that I have yet to acquire an ultrasound machine. I have my VPI, my trusty 16.5, in the kitchen.
Which is what I had for a good 25 years. Yep. And it served its usefulness.
Yeah, well,
you don't owe me anything.
You know, from VPI Brain Trust, they've come out with a Cyclone for 2014. And the Cyclone's very interesting that it has a ball-bearing subplatter. So you put the top platter over the ball-bearing subplatter, and you can almost stand on the thing and put so much pressure on it. Where the older 16.5, if you put too much pressure on it, you would ground it out. It would hit at the bottom. And go, but this one doesn't do that. So interesting. I want to test that out too. Zach doesn't do analog yet. So
yet. Yet another frontiers.
Yes. How about Zach? Let's do a wrap-up room here at the show that stood out for you.
Well, you know what? I will have to, my final comment about this show is going to have to go to kind of a trademark of, trademark attribute of the show, which is really the music. At CES, there really isn't music. Again, it's more of a trade show kind of deal over there, but over here, there's a good foundation in from the music suppliers. So, I mean, down here, there's tables and tables of CDs, LPs, and it just brings a little bit different vibe to a show. So again, I mean, music is where it starts, and here at the show, they've kind of kept that. So I have to say that that's always a trademark of any show.
First place I come to when I come down
here. Yeah,
exactly. So it's great.
I think Zach's absolutely correct, because you walk up the boulevard to the Venetian, and it is definitely all business. It's it's ties, it's button-down shirts, people jabbering about business deals in the halls. You walk into a room, it's all business, 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 and here it's music, and it's about the equipment. And it's about showing us the equipment and then putting a record on, putting it on the platter, moving the arm over, dropping the needle down on the record, and sitting back, and everybody in the room listening to music. So if I could sum up the show is about music. Miles, your one word for the show.
It's really getting to see the people here at the show.
Zach, one word for the show.
I'm going to have to stick with music. I mean, it begins and starts with it, and that's the truth.
Okay. Miles, Peter, and Zach reporting from the show on the show.
See you next year.
See you next year at the show.